LA Knight sucks, dude. What the hell are you talking about? AJ should have won that. You know he should have won that. Forget LA Knight.
No, because you know when I win, where AJ Styles' sucky theme song sucked.
Man, his theme song was awesome. What the hell are you talking about? That new theme is awesome, dude. You're so. Ugh. What the hell?
Bro.
What?
Hey, you realize we're recording right now, right? Why are you arguing with the little 12-year-old kid, man?
Wait, what?
Why are you arguing with the little 12-year-old kid, man? We're recording right now.
Oh.
In the heart of Texas, two dudes making noise, talking about pro wrestling on the podcast. Big up boys, big loony guys, we be throwing down the rhymes, kicking it live, representing the Lone Star State every damn time. We got Stone Cold Stunners and the Rocks, people's out.
Buenos dias, y'all. How's everybody doing? Welcome to this post-WrestleMania edition of the Ring Rundown. Joined as always by my boy SP. What's up, man?
What's going on, Dropkick Zombie? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Long work week. It's been, it's our busy season, so I've been kind of putting in those hours. But besides that, man, I'm good. Glad. TGIF, bro. TGIF. Well, we have a lot of juicy stuff. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all good, man. Yes, no, it has definitely felt like a long work week, but hey, like you said, today is Friday, so getting into the weekend, man. Got my in-laws coming into town this weekend for a month, so that's gonna be fun to see them and visit with them. But man, we got a little bit of juicy tidbits for you on this little episode of the Ring Rundown, man. So let's jump right into it.
All right, first off, we're gonna start off with some AEW news. Anthony Ogogo joins the Shane Taylor promotion. I don't know.
So
he may have done stuff after, but I haven't seen nothing with him since him and that Cody Rhodes stuff. Like, I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. I believe he's been out for about roughly 3 years.
It's been that long?
Roughly, yeah. I mean, I know he's over from the UK, so probably travel visa issues, not 100% sure, possibly could have been injury, something, but he made his return this past Saturday night during Collision, and ended up joining Shane Taylor Promotions and taking out Hook, being the team of Chris Jericho and Hook. So this is definitely something to see where it's going to be headed, man. Good to see Anthony Ogogo back, man. He's definitely another meat man, so to say.
Yeah, and I know former pro boxer. Won most of his
medalist too, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I know he won most of his boxing matches by way of knockout. So, dude got some hands on him. I haven't seen much from him in the ring, to be honest. So I'm not really sure. I haven't really paid attention to him. I love Shane Taylor. He was he frequented the Austin Indies a lot, so that's where I kind of became a fan of him. Another thing, like with the whole also we got some stuff going on with Chris Jericho and Taylor, and I was about to say Shane Taylor, with Chris Jericho and Hook there. So there was some dissension at the end of that match, which was
at the end of Wednesday night's match when it was the trios title. It was Shibata, Hook, Jericho against Shane Taylor Promotions, and unfortunately Okada accidentally missed his boot and ended up hitting Jericho. And when Okada was trying to make the tag to Hook, Jericho pulled Hook off the apron. That caused a little commotion between the two of them outside the ring, and Okada unfortunately ended up eating the pin. So this new trio of Anthony Ogogo, Shane Taylor, and Lee Moriarty are 1-0 in trios matches already. So it's definitely going to be something to see which direction or what kind of push that these three get in this tag team. So
couple of tidbits. I know I love how they do Shibata and the phone, the translator phone.
Oh yeah,
I think that's dope. I think that's pretty funny. And then there's also another rumor: Hook is interested in exploring free agency.
Yes, he is. Once his AEW contract is up, he's interested in seeing what kind of other ventures he can get outside of AEW.
Well, so Triple H is salivating.
There's a lot of
Triple H is salivating.
there's a lot of speculation on if he'll go to WWE. I mean,
I think
I
we're gonna
know
see him.
Taz has stated that he wouldn't mind seeing Hook in WWE. However, being Hook's size that he currently is, it's going to be interesting to see should he go there, where on the card they'll put him.
I think he'll be just fine. The kid has an it factor. I do think we're gonna see him on NXT before long. I don't think he'll be one of these that'll skip NXT, but I definitely see him being in NXT at some point. I'm interested
Yeah,
to see it. I'm for it.
yeah, it's going to, like I said, interesting to see. It's also going to be interesting to see where they take this Jera Hook tag team partnership. I mean, with the whole Jericho underneath the learning tree aspect that he wants to instill in being a mentor to Hook. But I mean, obviously, the miscommunication and aggravation of what we just saw Wednesday night on Dynamite is going to be something to see how it's going to play out in the long run with this storyline. So definitely, like with everything else, man, just going to have to wait and see where they take it.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see. I'm interested by this little trio here. Like I said, I haven't seen much from Anthony Ogogo in the ring as far as wrestling, but we'll see. He's definitely athletic, so. But to see. Moving on, sticking with the AEW. Well, sort of now, maybe not anymore. Matt Hardy is pretty much now a free agent.
Yeah, his contract expired
The first,
not too long ago. Yeah, the 1st of April as well, I believe. And he chose not to re-sign with AEW. He chose not to sign the contract that was offered to him by Tony Khan. So it's a lot of people are speculating maybe he'll jump ship back to WWE, and a lot of question now lies on what's going to happen with Jeff Hardy. Obviously, Jeff Hardy is going to have time added to his contract for being out with injury, as well as probably his little DUI incident that he had while he was in still under contract with AEW. So possibly time missed out there as well. Probably have to pay whatever fine or whatever that Tony Khan instilled on him, or whatever happened with that. So
couple of moving
definitely gonna be
parts.
something to see.
Couple moving
Yes,
parts to this.
definitely,
One, on
definitely
his
some moving
podcast,
parts.
he said that he hasn't signed nothing. He's still kind of in talks with AEW. He's seeing what they got. There was that picture that was taken of him at a WWE event, and it was in Raleigh, which is right by his house, of Cameron, North Carolina. He did mention that he has not signed nothing yet, but he is not taking indie dates either. So it's going to be soon where he does put pen to paper somewhere. He said he's not entertaining indie bookings. Another thing is, what I'm thinking he wants to do is probably go out on his own again. But what he fails to realize, and I'm not saying this because he done a great job, broken Matt and all that stuff. Especially getting towards the tail end of their career here, people want to see Team Extreme. I think the WWE would probably, even though I don't know if they relatively would trust Jeff at this point, they would definitely see more value in him being with Jeff, just like most places would, So I don't know where that's going to leave him when it comes to negotiation. So yeah, but we'll just have to, like I say, for everything, we'll have to see. Maybe he goes back to AEW if they bring back the money. I don't know. He may want to stay there because his brother's there. But Jeff ain't getting out of it anytime soon.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's still plenty of time left on Jeff's AEW contract. More than likely, I see with Matt Hardy, he's probably taking this time not to do any sort of indie bookings or anything like that. Probably taking time to rest and recoup his body. I mean, this man has, both him and his brother Jeff have put their body through some immense pain, and
triangle ladder matches.
Yeah, ladder matches, table matches, TLC matches, hardcore unsanctioned matches. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some of his matches that he had with Sammy Guevara and AEW and stuff like that. So Even in TNA with Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero and everything like that. I mean, a lot of people credit with the creation of the Broken Matt Hardy character as sort of revitalizing his career in the wrestling business. And I
So,
know he brought it back with Damascus in AEW when he debuted and joined the Elite there. This is obviously during the 2020 first start of the pandemic when they were over there at Daly's place. So um,
so
with
do
Matt,
you?
I could see him, like I said, just taking time off to rest and recuperate. I know there was a little bit of speculation that possibly there might have been some infidelity accusations going on back and forth between that Rebby leveled against Matt Hardy. There was an anonymous or a kind of a cryptic post that he made on Twitter with sort of a kind of an out there accusation about uh,
First, I've
cheating
heard
and
of
stuff like
this.
that. Yeah, this happened sometime last year, I believe. Can't really remember when, but definitely within the last year that this had happened. So there was speculation that they could have been headed for divorce or issues
Uh,
in their marriage, something like that. But as far as we know now, um, everything is copacetic. I mean, they were both seen at that Monday Night Raw show up in one of the suites in the arena. So obviously, whatever happened, they got over, they got through, and they seem to be on lovey-dovey marriage again. So
okay,
who knows what happened?
when it comes to that, okay, two things. Who are they saying was the one that was doing the cheating
Well, it was like I said, it was Rebby that posted
about
the
Matt?
thing on Twitter, just a random
Ah,
tweet
hope
about cheating. So
I hope he
there was
wouldn't,
no
because he of all people should know how much that
right,
hurts. Uh,
right.
two, if something really significant was to do with that, Remy is not known for holding her tongue. I think we would know. She puts it out there and she let it known how she feels.
Oh yeah, she let it be known how she felt after Jeff got busted for his DUI again, his last
Yeah,
time.
she does not hold back. So may have been just maybe something that was misconstrued. I don't know, but misconstrued. I don't know. That's a weird word.
Misconstrued?
Misconstrued. Misconstrued. I'm sorry. I'm from Louisiana, but
Yeah, that's a Scrabble word right there. That's a like 100,000 point Scrabble word right there. I
it
don't
may
know.
have been something like that because I wholeheartedly believe that
Yeah,
we would know something from her if that were the
most
case.
definitely. Most definitely. But
So
yeah, so like I said, it's going to be interesting to see where Matt Hardy does end up should he not choose to re-sign with AEW. Again, time will tell what happens.
alrighty. Now moving on to the good old WW World Wrestling Entertainment, the Raw after Mania. We got some tidbits about that. What's up with this? John Cena. What I knew already when they said somebody you cannot see, I was like, oh, John Cena's there. So I was
Yeah.
like,
So apparently the match was already underway. And then that's when John Cena's music hit and he came running down to the ring, jumped up onto the apron, got the hot tag from I believe Miz, and just came in and did his Cena 5 move. Cena came in
shoulder
and then
tackle,
all
shoulder
three,
tackle.
yep,
What else? That
five
little
knuckle
atomic
shuffle.
drop thing he does.
Uh-huh.
Five knuckle
And then of
shuffle.
course all three hit an AA on their opponents and all three got the pin. So it was a comical match, of course. But obviously Cena's not going to be doing too much of it because as stated in previous shows, he will be starting to film season 2 of Peacemaker here soon. So his physicality can't be what it once was.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
But
Peacemaker 2. If no one see it, it's hilarious show. Obviously, it's taken after the events from the Suicide Squad film, which was definitely hands down 10 times better than Suicide Squad movie that came out a few
yeah.
years ago.
All right, but yeah, I mean, it was a fun little match. It was cool. I liked, how just out of nowhere with the camera work, Truth was just there all of a sudden with the belt in his hand. Like, it was funny. It was really
Oh
funny.
my, oh yeah, yeah. The camera work that they've started doing now is just amazing, just seamless. I mean, there was an attack that Liv Morgan did on Rhea Ripley. Dominic pushed the camera out of the way, saying, "Get out of here," and they just went straight from the back down through the crowd and up into the ring, man. So their camera work that they're starting to do now is definitely 10 times better than it was underneath Kevin Dunn. So we don't have any more needless camera break, ain't weird camera angle switching between the camera shots. So
I just got to
definitely going to
work
save
on
a
my
lot
camera
of.
work. I keep forgetting to switch to full view. Like, I'll be like, oh yeah, he needs to be in full view. Then I'll turn it on when you're like halfway done with your monologue.
Hey, it's all good.
But
So yeah, definitely a lot of people have commended the camera work being done by WWE production lately, and I gotta hand it to them. It is getting a lot better, definitely better than it was underneath Kevin Dunn. So keep up the good work, WWE.
good stuff. Next up, we had a video package about the return of the red-haired warrior Sheamus, the Celtic warrior.
Yeah, not too much was mentioned as to when he would be returning, just that he is returning. My bet is probably gonna have to be the next WWE PLE, which is what gonna be Backlash, I believe.
Usually it is,
Or
but
they,
I
or no,
haven't.
no, 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 no. I think it's
Saudi
the Saudi
Arabia.
Arabia. I think it's Crown Jewel down to Saudi Arabia.
I was
I
about to
think
mention
that's
that.
I think that's the next PLE. So,
That's weird.
um,
Because I
yeah.
know
So maybe
usually that, like, even during the broadcast of WrestleMania, they'll start like advertising
their next PLE.
Backlash, and they
Yeah.
didn't no mention of Backlash yet at all. Now that you
So
say
I
it,
think, yeah, but I think since April, at the beginning of April was WrestleMania, and I think their next one will be Crown Jewel down to Saudi Arabia coming up in May.
yeah. I like Backlash because it's kind of they tend to kind of like play on all the WrestleMania stuff.
Right. Well, I mean that's why it was either last year or the year before they declared Backlash as WrestleMania Backlash when it was just
Yeah,
Backlash years
it
prior.
was in Puerto
So
Rico too last year.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So
hosted by Bad Bunny, and we got to see the return of Carlito and Savio
it
Vega.
was actually a really good show last year. So something it was a good one to kind of lead off of WrestleMania 39. I don't know how good Crown Jewel is going to be because they never. Sometimes they do, but they never do nothing significant with the storylines at a Crown Jewel. It's kind of just like a super show. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Just big
Yeah,
matches.
that's pretty much what it is. That's why there's also a lot of speculation whether or not Roman Reigns will be there, or even possibly The Rock. But as of now, obviously, we know that The Rock is going to be gone filming 2 movies. I can't remember what the first one was, but the second one being the live action of Moana, and then obviously we know Roman Reigns is gone for a while, but he did post a video of him on the treadmill in the gym, just getting back into work. So it's definitely going to be more than likely those type of posts that we'll see from Roman Reigns, and then whenever he returns, he'll return. And
We're gonna lead into the next story.
yeah,
Triple H is coming.
speaking of which, according to Triple H at the Night 2 media scrum, when Roman Reigns does return, there will be a change. That's pretty much all that was said. Didn't give any more specification as to what kind of change, whether it's going to be a storyline, his attitude. They're just not sure yet. Like I said, all Hunter said was that it's definitely good. It's gonna be he's gonna be a change. It's gonna be a change with Roman when he returns. So again, just have to wait and see what that change will be.
Well, a couple things. Okay, so there is, that Jacob and Tama are kind of hanging in the whims right now. We may see him on SmackDown tonight. You never know. I did hear that they
Yeah.
were at the building this past Monday, but no show on camera. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Do you feel like this whole bloodline stuff is kind of starting to run its course, or
Not quite yet, because we still need to have the dissension happen in the bloodline, which I don't think will actually happen until Roman returns. Which, prior to his departure, he was advertised for SummerSlam, being the next big PLE in
I know how to book
August.
it?
So,
I know how to book it. Roman Reigns comes back.
uh huh.
Alma and Jacob take over the bloodline. Ostracize Roman Reigns out of the bloodline because he failed. And boom, we have a heel. I mean, we have a face turn for Roman. That could be the change.
Potentially.
I think so. I think that
Very
would be. I
potential.
think that would be the best way to book it. WWE, book it. Send me my check in the mail. You're welcome. But yeah. So I'm thinking that's what the change is going to be, a face turn. I think we're going to see a face turn.
Potentially. I mean, like, who knows? Like I said, with the fact that Triple H and WWE creative are actually now listening to the fans, could be time for a Roman face run for him, and hopefully he won't get booed out of the building when, like he was just a few years ago, from being shoved down everyone's throats.
Yeah, he's come a long way since then, and like him as a heel has been amazing. I'm not gonna lie, some very good TV. So
Oh yeah, no,
they have to
credit
go
his
about this just
they
right.
credit what happened at SummerSlam and his new bloodline attitude of him being the one, acknowledge me, tribal chief, stuff like that. They credit that as being like the most positive change to happen, with backing from the fans and everything in decades.
So yeah, I mean, we may be overdue for a face Roman Reigns, but they're gonna have to do it just right and kind of make it a good transition for people
Mhm.
to bite on it. You know what I'm saying? But we'll just like we always say in the world of wrestling.
Just have to wait and see.
There we go. All right, moving on to what was announced, the WWE draft. Like I've said in the past, after WrestleMania, it's kind of like WWE's new year, pretty much, the start of their fiscal year.
Time to
So,
shake things up again.
yeah, for next WrestleMania. So we already saw one guy that's from NXT that is for surely going to be it, and that's Mr. Ilya Dragunov. Great showing on Raw Monday. Dude's probably, arguably, like probably one of the best in-ring workers right now in the WWE. Like he's Bryan Danielson, level. Like the dude's good. Like I don't know if you ever seen some of the old matches with him and Gunther. Well, Walter back then. Great, amazing high work rate matches. I know eventually they're probably going to want them two to go at it at some point. I would say most definitely, but I'm not trying to start this. I'm gonna let you get to the draft. I'm not trying to just start this as an Ilya drag. I'm a big fan of Ilya, so I'm not just gonna make this a segment about him. But yeah, so what's your thought on the draft?
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, the draft is just another way to shake things up. Apparently, all three brands, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, are up in the draft this year, which is, I believe, something that they did a few years ago, and then NXT was just kind of left off to do its own thing. So it's definitely going to be something interesting to see who's going to get drafted where. Obviously, they'll have to finish their commitments in their respective brands first before they make the switch. Um, or not. I mean, we could have it where, you know, champions get drafted to another show and they'll just do a title switch and it becomes effective. Again, since they're changing everything, since we're now in the Paul Levesque era of WWE, it could just be all right. Once you get drafted to this show, you're automatically on this show. Everything that happened Where you were previously at is null and void, and we're just gonna put you into this match with this person. Uh, Title changes. Who knows what's gonna happen? It's definitely gonna be interesting to see who ends up where.
And it really shows the wrestlers where they are on the card. Like, if you get an announcement,
you're definitely gonna be judged as to what number or what round you get picked.
if you're not on TV when you get picked or whatever, and they just kind of put you on a like an X post or something, you know exactly where you stand. Which happens.
Much. Yeah, it's gonna.
I feel bad. I would feel
it's gonna be an X post or on WWE.com who got drafted after
with a long list
after
of them.
Raw went off the air. Yep,
Ooh.
just like how they've done in years past. So
yeah, or without even making a splash or something. Like
I wonder if they're gonna do it. I wonder if they're gonna do it how like they've done years before, to where since Monday Night Raw is a 3-hour show, if each round Monday Night Raw is going to get 3 picks compared to the other 2 with SmackDown and NXT.
I'm not sure. I remember when it used to go across both shows. So I'd rather at that format.
Right, but that's what I'm saying though, is that any time on Raw, SmackDown, since Monday Night Raw was a 3-hour show, they got the 1 extra pick per round. So are they going to do that? Are they going to do that the same way this year for this draft, or are they just going to do like
even split
2 picks? Yeah, just an even split per brand. So again, just going to have to wait and see what they do. I believe the draft is the last Monday in April.
My whole thing with the draft, why it interests me, the thing I'm mostly interested is NXT, who's getting called up. That's what I really pay attention to.
I believe
I like new people coming up.
I believe this past Tuesday night on NXT, Braun Breaker actually said goodbye, and I think tonight is his official SmackDown roster.
He's already been signed to SmackDown, like we saw it, and but he hasn't done anything yet.
Right, because he had his other commitments that he had to do in NXT. So since Tuesday night was his last official night in NXT, he bid farewell, and I believe will be debuting tonight on SmackDown. Not sure against who though, but so yeah, it's just gonna be so I mean, who knows? Maybe Braun Breaker will get drafted all of a sudden over to Monday Night Raw, or could be drafted
that is a
back
possibility.
To NXT. So with the draft, you never know.
That dude's been supposed to be out of NXT by now. Oh, that dude's been supposed to be on the main roster, if you ask me. Anyways, who are you? Some other? I predicted probably Dijak. I predicted. I don't know why I didn't think about Ilya. And what's that other guy? Oh, I forgot. Him and Ilya had a program. Black guy. Oh man, I forgot his name.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's one other guy. People are gonna know who I'm talking about, but
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes.
Okay.
I think that would be another one. Other than that, I haven't been up on NXT in a while.
Neither have I.
Yeah, I need to. I always plan every week. I was like, I need to sit down and watch NXT, and I never do. But there's so much wrestling to watch.
I already submit my wife to enough wrestling as it is.
Yeah.
I don't need to add on another program to her.
Yeah, I can understand. Like that's what I was about to say. Like there's so much wrestling already to watch. So
I said it's good. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, yeah, you got NWA Power on the CW network Monday nights. You got Monday Night Raw. You got NXT on Tuesdays. You've got Dynamite on Wednesdays. You've got TNA Wrestling on Thursdays. Fridays is SmackDown and Rampage, and Saturdays is Collision. So, I mean, that's 6 full days worth of wrestling.
We just need the return of Sunday Night Heat, and we're set. We got 7 days. So,
oh man, I remember going. I think Sunday Night Heat was my very first WWE show back in 1999, early 99.
I remember it was on MTV for a while.
Was it?
It was on MTV for a little while.
I remember it being on USA Network.
It was, but it was on MTV afterward for maybe like a year. It just popped up on MTV. No, I don't remember any announcement or anything, but for like a
Well, do you
year, it was
remember?
just on it.
Do
It
you
was on
remember
MTV.
Wrestling Society X? That was on
Oh, I
MTV. I
still
remember that.
got Gone Too Soon. That was so good. I have the box set, dude. I have the box set of Wrestling Society X. Dude, I would turn Raw to watch Wrestling Society X. That was so. I had never. That's what made me an indie fan. I had never seen the likes of Jack Evans, Teddy Hart, Colt Cabana. I hadn't seen none of them until Wrestling Society X, and then after that, that's when I found out about this whole world of wrestling outside the WWE. That, you know, for the longest time was, you know, the best stuff ever. But oh man, I miss Wrestling Society X.
So, do you remember? Did you ever watch the Beyond the Mat movie?
I never did. I've seen clips.
Okay, so in there was a little indie promotion up in Northern California in Hayward called APW, All Pro Wrestling.
Was it?
Would do,
No,
huh?
never mind. I
No,
was thinking about
they would
Jersey All
do.
Pro.
No, they would do shows where I grew up in California, or where I lived in California before I moved out here. And there was I mean, they put on really good shows, but there was a night they brought in the Sandman, and his first night, or the first time that they brought him in, after the main event, which obviously Sandman ended up winning, he brought in a person from like different sections of the crowd, and I was the first one to get brought in, and I got to chug a beer and smash it on my forehead with the Sandman in the ring. And my buddy Van, who was with me at that show, got it on pictures. It was up. I wish I still had those pictures, but that was during MySpace days. All right.
No, 'cause I remember
But
like
yeah, I've got a permanent small little mark on my forehead from smashing the beer can on
that's what I was about to say. I was like, it would have been funny as hell if you would have knocked yourself out, just hit yourself, just
Nope.
had to roll you out
But
the ring.
but dude, that was like one of the freshest nights of my life. That night was getting to chug a beer in the ring with the Sandman and doing the whole
I bet that was awesome.
smashing the beer can on my forehead. I still got the beer can that I also had him sign the bottom of it. So
That's pretty dope, man. Yeah, oh, dude, it was after Wrestling Society X went off air. A lot of wrestlers started popping up in Jersey All Pro Wrestling, which was a big that they had Kenny Omega before Kenny Omega was Kenny Omega. They had Jack Evans, they had Homicide, and they had a website. You can only watch their videos on the website, and they even had like their own Tough Enough type thing. Like you get trained for free, and like it. Yeah, I remember the good old Jersey All Pro Wrestling, the internet wrestling days. Back when it was not MySpace, it wasn't no YouTube. It was Daily Motion. You had to watch it on.
Mhm.
And yeah, oh dude, I miss those days. Before,
Yeah, we could go on
yeah,
indie
let's keep
wrestling
moving.
for days, but man, what do we got on our next story here on the rundown?
Also from WWE, Jade Cargill. I know you had something you wanted to say about this. Her matches being a lot like her stuff in AEW.
Yeah, I mean, they brought her out for a squash match against Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green, who's Karen personality on WWE right now, is hilarious to watch. But yeah, they sent her out to the ring with an opponent for her, and of course it was Jade Cargill. Came out. It was a squash match. The style that they did it in, just very similar to how she was booked in AEW, just squashing her opponents and hitting them with her finisher, and pin is the same style. Everything about it is very similar to how she was in AEW. So kind of disappointed. Was hoping for more of a back and forth match between the two. I get they're trying to present Jade as like this beast monster, but you end up losing credibility with your fans on the opponent who just gets squashed. And that's why a lot of people got so upset when they had Becky Lynch return last year, or the year before, and just squash Bianca Belair in a match at a pay-per-view. And it was like you spent all
Oh,
this time building
I
her up.
remember that.
Yeah, you remember that. And then they did the same thing with Kofi Kingston when he was world champion. And they brought Brock Lesnar
They
back
fed him to
by-
Brock. I remember that in Tokyo.
No, it wasn't Tokyo. It was here in the
Well,
States.
no, I know he worked Brock at like it was WWE goes Tokyo or whatever, and Brock just like threw him around the ring
Oh, that
for
was it.
5
That
minutes.
Beast from
Beast from
pay-per-view
the
you're
East.
talking-
Yeah, Beast from the East.
Yeah, but you end up losing credibility with your wrestler that you just pushed for so long when you have someone come back and then just do a squash match in under 30 seconds. So
Yeah,
again,
poor Kofi.
I get why. Well, poor all three of them. I mean, it can't just always be about Kofi getting squashed the way he was. But I mean, poor Bianca, she got squashed with a returning Becky Lynch. Kofi against Brock for the world title, and then Chelsea Green on Monday Night Raw with Jade. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
I get why you want to push these people to be just a ruthless monster, but
It's at the expense of someone.
Exactly, it's at the expense of someone that you're busy building and trying to give a push to, and it just kills all credibility that superstar just had.
That's what local talent's for. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say that about local talent, but that's you bring in local talent, get them on TV, gives them a chance to get on TV, and look it launched James Ellsworth's career. I mean, do like Ryback, give Jade 2 local talent people, let her beat both of them.
Exactly.
So yeah, you don't need to squash
Like I said,
your
I'm not
main stars.
I'm not trying to discredit Jade for the monster that she is and everything like that, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have her go up against essentially a seasoned superstar in Chelsea Green, I mean, then
Let her get some offense in.
Yeah, exactly. Let her get some offense in. Same with what they should have did with Bianca against Becky and Kofi against Brock. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
They did it because they hate Zack Ryder.
Remember, Zack Ryder's dead. Matt Cardona.
Oh yeah, true. I couldn't think of his name for a second. Matt Cardona. All right, moving on. We already did that. So a little tidbit, like I mentioned last week. Yeah. Well, no, this past weekend, that when we saw that Sierra Hotel Lima Shield, I was hoping it was going to be Mox entering that ring, but no, it was just Seth Rollins getting punched in the face for his troubles. Like I said, that dude had a rough weekend, bro.
So apparently there was rumor that WWE did not reach out to Tony Khan to see if they would allow Moxley to show up at WWE with in teaming with Seth Rollins to take on Roman Reigns, which I kind of get, but also at the same time, I think WWE could have swallowed some of their pride and reached out to see if they would allow Jon Moxley to return as Dean Ambrose for just the one small segment. Because, like I said, a lot of people were hoping that it was going to be a return to Dean Ambrose to help and team up with Seth Rollins to take out Roman Reigns in the Bloodline. But a lot of people were disappointed that it didn't happen. And then that's when the question arose, did WWE make an attempt to reach out to Tony Khan? And per what I could find, AEW was not contacted by anybody from WWE. So
with
I
all
think it
that's
kinda
going
missed-
on, I gotta understand,
Yeah,
but still, do it for the fans, man.
So yeah, so there's really not much to it other than just the fact that it was a missed opportunity, and something magical could have happened that night.
That'd have been a huge pop.
Oh yeah, big time.
But, well, they didn't do it. So, moving on, we're going to go with The Rock getting some of that moolah and shares.
Yeah, so apparently, Rock, after his match at WrestleMania, after night 2 of WrestleMania, he ended up walking out with 96,558 stock shares or shares in stock of TKO WWE TKO Holdings in WWE, which equals out to, once it all clears, is equal to $9,414,405, which is roughly going to be an estimated what he was going to be bringing in income wise, close to $20 million after next year. So that man definitely got paid for this, for 2 nights of wrestling, for what, half an hour worth of wrestling, a little bit longer, 45 minutes maybe, if you want to go that route. Because I mean, he will. How long do you remember how long the match was Saturday night?
I want
Match.
to. It wasn't quite an. I want to say it was a good 30 minutes. No, it had to be
Okay.
longer, over 30 minutes. I'm not sure, but it wasn't an hour. But it was a little bit longer.
Yeah, so roughly under an hour's worth Saturday night, and then his what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes total in the ring on Sunday, with all the interference and everything like that happened. So we're talking, let's go roughly an hour on for both nights. So I wish I could be able to make close to $10 million and for an hour's worth of work. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I would go clean poop out of the freaking like out of the bathrooms for that. Man. Oh, the rich get richer, bro. Oh man. But man, more power to him. You know, hey, he's made his money.
Man's making money. Like
Making
I
that
said,
money.
it's gonna be an estimated 20 million for after total and everything for next year's, once he gets those shares for his time in the company. So his bank account is going to be very,
And that's
happy.
probably because if he got shares, how WWE's going right now, those shares are going to go up. So he's probably going to get a lot more money later on.
Oh yeah.
If he decides to sell or whatnot, or cash in on them shares. So yeah, man, Rocks, he ain't gonna be hurting. His kids are gonna be okay.
Yeah,
So,
he's set his great grandkids up for life. So
more power to him, man. And not to mention, he is the most. They say, I don't know if it's like that anymore, but I know for the longest time he was the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
I believe he may still be.
Yeah, I know Cena may be catching up to him, but we'll see. I don't know. I really don't know about Hollywood too much. But yep, Rock making that money, sir. Next bit of news. This will be our final WWE news segment. We got the situation with Mr. Drew Gulak and Ronda Rousey. Is he gone? Or I know he was off the show, but I didn't hear he was fired.
No, I think they're kind of have him off TV for a while, and apparently he was actually removed from WrestleMania weekend as well. And apparently at the Hall of Fame ceremony Saturday night, he was seen sitting close to someone who is in Ronda Rousey's little circle of friends, and was actually asked to leave. So his presence was erased from Tuesday night's NXT event, and there seem to be taking these allegations against him very very closely, and are actively doing a full-on investigation into him and his antics. So as of now, it looks like he's gone, but he has, as far as what I've seen, what I could find, he has not been released by WWE just yet. He is
I just hope we're persecuting rightly. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I hope this ain't just, maybe it was a situation where it was a misunderstanding. I hope he's not being persecuted over a
Mhm.
misunderstanding. Is all I'm hoping. If there may be more that they found out, I don't know. I just hope
Right.
this
I
guy's
mean
career
that
ain't being ended over something that was a mistake. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah. And I mean that's where the investigation comes into play, where you'd start pulling in other people who were
Yeah.
around the area who may have been witness to it and could either corroborate Rhonda's story or exonerate Drew Gulak. So again, it's just have to wait and see what's going to
I hope the
happen.
right.
But
I just hope the right
as far
decision's
as
made.
as far as we could tell, he's not released from WWE, but he has been removed from programming. And if should he show up, he's being asked to vacate the building. So that's all. That's all they can do right now while the investigation is ongoing.
So we'll just, like I said before, wait and see. I don't know. Like I hope the proof all comes out or whatever, and the right decision's made, and the right course of action happens. That's all I can hope for. You
Mhm.
know. So we'll see. Now getting to all AEW stuff, all Elite Wrestling. First off, we got the backstage footage that they actually did release on Wednesday. It was just as CM Punk explained it. I mean, there was a couple of little things, but it I don't know, man. It was just
Uh,
pretty much how Punk how he recalled it is pretty much what we saw in the video. So
for the most part, however, a lot of people did tend to notice that Punk didn't strike first until Jack Perry had his hands going through his hair, kind of pushing his hair back, and then Punk kind of suckered pie faced him, or uh, whether it was a punch or something like that, but waited till Jungle Boy Jack Perry, scapegoat, whatever you want to call him, until he was looked to be defenseless, and then you saw Jack looked like trying to go for a double leg takedown, but looked like he got put in a little guillotine chokehold.
front face lock.
Yeah, front face lock, guillotine chokehold, whatever you want to call it. And that's when uh, wrestlers and staff and backstage production assistants, backstage production, anyways, came over to separate the two, and obviously see CM Punk react and yelling at somebody, which is believed to be Tony Khan, trying to.
And I saw when he
He,
did lunge at him. He did lunge at him.
yeah,
He
he
did.
did lunge at him, and
If that was
looked like
him in
he was.
the off camera right there.
Well, that's what it looked like, is because that was gorilla position, and that, I mean, obviously that's where Tony Khan sits for all tapings of AEW, is right there, and Jerry Lynn was sitting next to him there in gorilla position as well. He was one of the people to come over, break it up, along with Samoa Joe, um,
I saw
and I
Malachi
believe,
Black in there.
yeah, Malachi. Yeah, he came walking up right after everything, right after they were separated, to try to figure out what was going on. But yeah, it looked like CM Punk reacted the way he did. Looked like he was making an attempt to try to push the monitors off the table, and that's where Tony Khan stepped up. If that was Tony Khan, which a lot of people are heavily positive that it was, but he reached up to prevent the monitors from being shoved off the table, and you see CM Punk yelling and screaming, and then walks off. So
Now there
again,
was one more discrepancy that Punk in the interview with Ariel Helwani said that Jack approached him. No, he definitely approached Jack. But I mean,
yeah,
that's neither
so
here
there's
nor there.
right. But again, you can't necessarily say that what CM Punk said was true, because obviously there were discrepancies in what
It
he
was
said.
minor stuff, kind of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I could see what you're talking about, but again, there was definitely a lot of split reactions. People coming out and saying no, they shouldn't have done that. They just proved CM Punk is right. AEW, no, it showed that Punk is an aggressor and, in their words, a whiny little bitch. And
Do you agree with the
sucker
sentiment that
punch.
do you agree with the sentiment that it may have made Jack Perry look kind of wimpy?
No, not
That is a
necessarily.
talk. That is a sentiment. That is a talk that he did kind of look a little, but I mean, Punk's maybe not the best, but he is a trained MMA fighter.
Well, he trained in Muay Thai is where his MMA background was. I mean, you can't necessarily say he's an MMA fighter when he went 0 for 2 and very,
I said he trained MMA.
epic fashion.
I said he trained MMA. Yeah.
So I said it's split reactions, some positive, some negative. Obviously after this was aired, FTR came out and said, why are we reliving this BS? It's done, it's over, we're trying to move forward, and yet here you are dragging it up. And a lot of people find it funny that that the Bucks were using what happened backstage as to why they lost to FTR, which I think is very comical and kind of
it is kind of funny.
It adds more to the story. But yeah,
it was a good excuse to use the footage. Not a good excuse, but it was a convenient one. So
yeah, definitely. So I don't know whether or not it hurt or helped AEW. From my understanding, it did boost AEW's ratings for the night. So like I said, it's time to move on now. If you want to keep using the storyline, use it in a positive way and
now
capitalize on it.
When they first said this, when you first mentioned it to me, I thought it was going to be the footage of the actual brawl out. That's what everybody really wants to see. I don't know if there is footage of it, but what happened in that dressing room is what everybody really wants to see.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Actual brawl out.
I'm sure everybody does. But I don't think there was any security cameras in there. But apparently, this has just been released within the last day or two. It's a possibility that Tony Khan may have broke the law in regards to releasing the UK CCTV footage. So that's definitely going to be something interesting to keep up on.
I don't know anybody puts up clips of it.
More into
AEW striking down anybody that puts clips of it up anywhere.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what, if any, legality issues come of this to Tony Khan's way in releasing the CCTV footage. Maybe he got the A-OK from the UK government to be able to do so, but again, this is definitely something to do a little follow-up story on once there's more details from it.
I don't know. Some people are saying it's good that they put the footage out. Some people saying that it's not. I don't know, but I think it's definitely made headlines. So, but well, it is what it is. Now moving on, some lighter news. We got a match booked for next Dynamite. We got a mixed tag match. Hartwell. What was that?
Julia Hart and Brody King taking on Adam Copeland and Willow. Did you happen to catch the Adam Copeland versus Penta match?
That was a good match. It was a
good
lot of Penta. It was a lot of Penta beating the shit out of Edge. I mean, Adam Copeland, and he's Edge, but it was a lot of he looked strong in the match. It wasn't until the last ending where he hit him with that spear and got the 1, 2, 3, but it was mostly all Penta.
Oh yeah, Penta definitely put on a good showing against
This
Adam
is
Copeland.
something else I want to bring up. Backtracking. And they got to figure out a way to get these sneak attacks, whether just the lights go out every time. AEW loves the damn lights being shut off. What in a story soon, we're gonna have where the lights went off. Like they got to figure out a way. I was like, lights went off. Who's it gonna be?
Well, they're also saying that AEW needs to calm down on the whole whispering, a wrestler that does something heinous, it whispers something else into another wrestler's ear that they need to cool down on that. That it's a good thing to build suspense and stuff like that,
But
but
it's being overdone.
exactly, if you
It's like with
if
the
you
lights
use it
going
too
on.
much, yeah, no, I can see what you're
They
talking
did it with
about,
Orange
but
Cassidy. They did it with that big 7 foot tall guy. Like I don't know that basketball player. And
Satnam Singh,
yeah, the lights come on. It's like, who's that? Like the lights go off. We're like, oh, who's it gonna be? Who the hell's that guy? And he's sitting there,
yeah.
and I was just like,
Yeah.
uh,
So, anyways,
Butcher and the Blade. Like,
yeah. So the backstage segment that led up to this, it was so Renee was interviewing Mark Briscoe and Eddie Kingston about the match that just happened, which we'll get into here next from ROH Supercard this past Friday night. But then Edge came up and was like, "Hey, I don't know if you saw, but I got my ass kicked out there in the ring by Brody King. Like, I need to make sure that the rated R chicken hawks or what
yeah, he said
rated
like,
R chicken hawks, something
yeah,
like that, are good to go." Coming up at the pay-per-view, and then that's when Willow and Stokely Hathaway popped in,
and
and
challenged.
so it was Willow who was bringing up the challenge first, but then Adam Copeland cut her off and said, "Hey, you know what? How about next week, me and you go out
No, it
there
was
and
her
take on."
manager. Oh, it was her manager that interrupted first, and he was
Well,
like,
yeah, but
yeah, he was
well,
like,
he
Willow
said,
versus Adam
why don't
Copeland.
you exactly? And
Yeah, I
then
thought that
that's
was
when
funny.
Willow was saying, "Yeah, that was funny." Stokely Hathaway's hilarious. But no, it was Willow who was proposing the match of her teaming up with Adam Copeland to take on Brody King and Julia Hart. When Adam cut Willow off and said, "Hey, how about next week, me and you go out there and face um, Brody King and Julia Hart?" And that kind of got me thinking. I'm like, that could potentially lead to a more emphasis on a heel turn for Willow Nightingale, constantly being talked over, and other wrestlers bringing up matches that she was about to say. And what it reminded me of, did you ever watch the Brady Bunch movie, the first one with Shelley Long, Gary Cole,
A long time
Christine
ago.
Taylor? So there's a part where the kids are trying to find money to raise money so they could save the house. They gotta earn 20 grand to pay back taxes.
Mhm.
So it's Jan who finds the flyer for the musical talent show for the fresh up and coming artists. She brings it up. They all laugh at her. "Oh, Jan, ha ha ha, you're so silly, yada yada yada." But then it was the night before that they were about to lose the house at auction, that Marsha came up, that Marsha repeated that same idea.
Marsha.
And of course everyone, "Oh, that's a great idea, Marsha, yada yada." And Jan flips out like, "What do you like? I brought that up like a few days ago, and you all laughed at me." And they're like, "Sure, okay." So I could see them kind of going that route to turn Willow Nightingale heel.
But yeah, anytime Brody is in the ring, I tune in. I like Brody King. Just a big brute. Plus, I was a fan of his hardcore band from California. So, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting match. I'm liking her. She has come way. She's come
Julia
very
Hart?
far. Yeah, since the
Oh yeah,
the Varsity Blondes. Like that. This is good. I love
oh
the
yeah,
hat.
this reiteration of
She
Julia
is
Hart
creepy.
joining the House of Black is
She's pretty creepy.
she's
I give it to her.
she's doing something, but she's not quite there yet to lead the women's locker room, but she's
I
making a
know.
big impact on what she's doing. So what I was just talking about earlier in regards to Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe is our new ROH World Heavyweight Champion. And apparently that night, this event happened in Philadelphia Friday night at the ROH Supercard show. Apparently it was exactly 11 years to the day that his brother Jay Briscoe won the ROH World title. So
Beautiful
that
story.
definitely made it that definitely made it extra worthwhile for Mark to win the title that night.
Awesome.
Because I mean,
Good to see.
yeah, it's good to see. I mean, the man's been putting in work like no other in AEW and ROH. It's good to see him finally get a good legit singles title being their world champion. And props to Eddie Kingston for embracing Mark Briscoe after that match, along with everybody in the locker room that came out after he won to congratulate him and just embrace him in love and congratulations. So it was definitely good to see.
Yeah, I love Mark Briscoe. I love the Briscoes, bro. I just wish we could have seen more on a grand stage for the untimely passing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to see. Well, Jay, I wish we could have seen those guys.
Yeah, I pulled up their match that they had against each other at their property, with their dad in the corner, essentially of each of them. That was another brutal match. That obviously, of course, any match that the Briscoes are a part of is a brutal bloodbath match, but that one especially when it's brother versus brother, it adds more to it.
So good feel good moment, man. Next up, out here, we got Pac versus Shinsuke Okada booked for AEW Dynasty. This is going to be a slobber knocker.
Yeah, so as we stated a couple weeks ago, Okada won the Continental Championship from Eddie Kingston, his first match in AEW, followed by Pac coming out and issuing a challenge for Okada and his newly won Continental Classic. And it was just this past Wednesday night that Okada accepted the challenge.
And
of course, Pac comes out for a brawl, and the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, make the save for Okada, followed by FTR trying to come out to even out the odds, but
brawl ensues.
Brawl ensues, and unfortunately, the Young Bucks and Okada end up getting the momentum over Pac and FTR.
They're the last one standing. They left them on the. They were on the ground, and Okada and the Bucks were standing tall.
Yeah, so this should be definitely a hard-hitting match if there ever was one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're gonna see some strong style going on in that ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, do you think Okada drops the title? No.
Nope.
No,
not anytime. Not anytime soon.
Not happening.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before he drops that title.
But we know it's gonna be a high work rate match. And that's what I'm down for.
That's definitely gonna be some high flying from both Pac and Okada. I'm not too sure on how much high flying Okada actually does, but
he's more of a ground guy. Actually, he more so has like a WWE style kind of, like
more of that,
like a Cena, like a John Cena style kind of.
Yeah, Pac
some big spots.
I think Pac can do a little bit of both stuff from the top rope, flying through the air, stuff like that, but also
and also a little sucker strong too.
Ground game, yeah.
So Duke can do some pretty impressive feats of strength too. So, well, it'll be a good match. Be all in for a treat there. Next thing we got, the lights going off, and Mercedes Moné on the ground when the lights turn back on.
Yeah, so Alex Marvez was doing an interview with Mercedes Moné, trying to get her reaction in regards to something I kind of missed part of the dialogue that was going back and forth. But yes, again, the lights go out in the dressing room, you hear a bunch of commotion, and when the lights come on, Sasha's gone. Mercedes is laying on the ground in pain, thus raising the question, who attacked?
Was it Willow?
Could it have been Anna
maybe
Jay? Or not Anna Jay, sorry, Julia Hart. It could have been Toni Storm.
Where's Saraya been? Where's Saraya?
Saraya? Yeah, she had posted on on X or Twitter that she hasn't been around. Last program that they had, I wonder. Hopefully, they're going to revisit this once they do come back. Is Saraya and her brother against Ruby Soho and Cool Hand Angelo Parker. That's the last program that we've seen with them. Is the little backstage attacks with both of them. So hopefully we see something from them soon.
Saraya hasn't made that big of a splash though, bro. My opinion.
Not so much lately. No, she did obviously.
She came in hot.
Yeah, she came in hot, and then again, I think part of it is just it's too much of a stacked roster for AEW to where Tony's trying to shuffle things around, and
seems like now the focus is on Mercedes more so, and maybe I guess you could say what's her name?
Ooh, you know what would be interesting for AEW to go into is a program between Mercedes and Saraya, because if you remember, it was Mercedes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think it maybe
was Sasha? Yeah, that's a very good point.
That's what I'm trying to say here. I didn't.
Yeah, it could have been. Sorry,
It's all good.
Going on, but it was it was Mercedes due to and obviously it was an accident in the ring, didn't mean to happen, but re-broke Paige then in WWE her neck to where she was out, she couldn't wrestle, and then she went on to become manager for the Kabuki Warriors, and then obviously once the Kabuki Warriors won the tag titles, they got rid of her and hit her with the green mist, and she was gone. And then she pretty much sat at home doing Twitch stuff with live streaming gaming, and then her contract was up at WWE and she debuted in AEW months later. But yeah, no, you bring up a really good point that it could have very well been Saraya that attacked her. Hopefully this leads into an interesting storyline program. I believe she was talking about how she lost to Willow to become the very first ever New Japan Strong Woman champion. That's what she was interviewing Alex Marvez about. So could have been Willow, could have been Saraya. No one knows.
Like in the world of wrestling, we always say,
I have to say, wait and see what happens.
Exactly. All right, then we ended Dynamite with a pretty brutal and good match, I would say, with Samoa Joe and versus
Dustin Rhodes. Now,
Rhodes.
This was a title eliminator match. So obviously, if Dustin Rhodes were to win, he would have gotten a shot at Samoa Joe and the AEW World Title. Now, also, what I forgot to mention was that at the beginning of the program, which is where that match was supposed to happen, Joe got taken out by Swerve Strickland. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
Dude, Swerve is on a whole nother level.
He's brutal, bruh. He's get with that chain. Bruh, yeah, he's out brutaling freaking Joe. Joe was on the this is at the end. He was at the entrance ramp going, he's still coming. Stop him. Like, that's bad when you got Samoa Joe doing that, you know what I'm saying?
So obviously Joe ends up winning the match, but then what happened after the match is he got a kick in the head from Swerve, came in, did his little running little boot kick that he does. Can't remember
while he was coquina clutching Dustin.
Yeah. After the match, yeah. Joe
letting go.
Yeah, Joe wasn't letting go of the coquina clutch, and Swerve came in and hit him with his little running kick to the face, and then we see
goes for the chain.
Goes for the chain. Prince Nana comes into the ring and grabs the title and is holding it up with Swerve hanging on, and that's essentially the end of Dynamite for that night.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't know, man. There's a possibility Swerve may end up walking out of Dynasty as world champion.
It's time.
Next week.
It's time. Swerve, bro. I bet when, just like I said,
Joe's gonna have to go start filming season 2 of Twisted Metal for Peacock here soon.
He needs to hurry up. I like that show, but I tell you, I could just like I said for Hook earlier, I bet Triple H is looking at Swerve and just salivating for him to That dude is a whole nother level from what he was with Hit Row, man. That dude, he has so much charisma, so much it factor. That
Oh yeah,
that smile with the grill and stuff like that. He
that
could
it's
be
got it's that evil, evil smile that he
with that
has. That
grill and
uh-huh.
just looks sinister. Like he's just such like he could be a villainous heel, a cool baby face. Like he just has a cool factor. Like he's just so cool. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm on his nuts big time right now. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, but yeah, that dude's awesome.
Understandable. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm not quite on right there,
Well,
but
but
kind of
I remember
maybe
he,
tickling it a little bit.
yeah, like I recall him from being in Lucha Underground, then being as Killshot, then being the Russell Circus heavyweight champion stuff. He was very, like I said, I have with people that were, like really prominent in the Texas Indies, and Swerve Strickland was one of those people that were really prominent in the. So I've been watching, and just the dude, he needs the gold around him sooner rather than later, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see it. I think by the end of the year, I think it'll happen.
Oh yeah, that most definitely. And then to our last bit of news, during that broadcast, we had an impromptu interview with Renee Paquette and one Mr. Will Ospreay that stirred a lot of controversy. So
Yeah, so obviously this interview made Renee Paquette very uncomfortable because during this interview, Osprey kind of referenced
kinda,
the
no, he that was full
he
on blatant, son.
it was very very heavily obvious who he was referring to. Um, but this was in response to Triple H's comments over the weekend saying that these wrestlers don't have the grind in them to wrestle here in the WWE. Obviously, talking about throwing shots at AEW for them
Swooping
signing
up.
Okada, Mercedes Moné, and Will Ospreay. Osprey obviously took offense to this because there's a reason why he chose AEW over WWE,
Didn't
and
want to
being the
move.
fact that exactly he didn't with if he were to sign with WWE, he was going to have to uproot his family and bring them over here into the States. This way, with AEW, he gets to keep his wife and his stepson in the UK to be close to their families. And then Will Ospreay just travels back and forth every week. Um, and I mean, AEW was definitely the right choice for him. But Ospreay's interview with Renee Paquette definitely fired back at Triple H and saying,
Grinding.
yeah,
Go ahead.
there's this guy who's saying that I'm afraid of the grind. That's funny coming from somebody who got his job where he's at because he was grinding up on the boss's daughter. And if anyone out there is listening, he is definitely referring to Triple H dating and ended up marrying
Did you
Stephanie McMahon.
notice? Did you notice Tony Schiavone
Giovanni?
after that segment? Did you notice he did that?
Well, no, that was after the All In footage. They were
I thought it
they
was
were in
after
disbelief.
this, but I could be
Mm-mm.
wrong. I wouldn't because I
No,
watched a
it
YouTube
it
video
was
on it, and
after.
he was like WCW all over again, and
No, it was after the All In footage that he did that. Um, but yeah, so Will Ospreay definitely fired shots back at him, and of course everybody's um saying, "Oh, why is Will Ospreay stooping to that low?" I'm like, well, he was called out over it by said person who fired the shots to Will Ospreay over the weekend. So
good for the goose is
why
good for the
wouldn't he?
gander, I guess.
Yeah, so he's gonna come out and say, "Oh, really? This is funny. You're saying I'm afraid of the grind when yet here I am traveling back and forth every single week, 8 to 10 hours on a plane, putting in all-star matches, and all you were able going to be able to guarantee me is just, a spot at WrestleMania. Nah, there's a lot more to it than that. He's like, I'm in here every week grinding, putting on matches, and you grinded up on the boss's daughter, and you're at where you're at because of that. So pretty much take it and eat it, bruv.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, okay, so I don't think it kills his chances for ever a WWE run. Because, I mean, look, Cody's back. Cody, he said a lot of things about Triple H. So hopefully.
Well, I mean, they say never say never in the world of professional wrestling.
I just hope it didn't, because I do want to see Will in a WWE ring at some point. But before he, because, I mean, Will probably not long in the game than most people because of the matches that he's had. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's done put his body through some car crashes and did some pretty amazing things. I do want to see him in a WWE ring, and I hope he didn't kill his chances of that ever happening. On the other side, you got Renee Paquette there, which they say she is still friends with Stephanie. So that was probably awkward for her. And there is rumor that she also wants to one day return to the WWE, but she went to AEW because John's there. So there's that whole aspect to it,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Will wasn't thinking about that,
Yeah, no, he just came out to give a reply back to Hunter for his rude ass comments of Will Ospreay being afraid of the grind that it takes for WWE to be a superstar there, but that's not the case at all. I mean, okay, the biggest thing that they were offering was to Will was going to be more money and just WrestleMania. Okay, but there's more to it than just that. Like, you can't just offer me WrestleMania and then not know what to do with me on your shows. So
yeah,
like I said, I think hands down his best choice was joining AEW.
I don't know if I all the way agree, but yeah, for him, it's probably the right choice. Well,
because I mean, at the end of the day, he's a family man. He's going to do what's best for him and his family. So
yeah, and that's all we can ask for. That's all. If that's what he's about, then he's happy, then that's nothing else matters.
Right.
Well, that's all the topics we have for tonight. You have anything you want to add?
No, if you have any rebuttals or other thoughts and opinions on anything that we covered today, please feel free to reach out, like, comment, subscribe, spread the word. Wrestling is back. Wrestling has actually never left, but it has definitely gotten more entertaining.
Definitely a renaissance.
Yes, we are definitely in a renaissance era, or just a change in wrestling scenery this year. 2024 is definitely going to be a big year for any and all wrestling related events and shows.
So we'll be here covering it.
Yeah, we'll do the best that we can to cover anything that comes up. Again, we're anxious to hear what anybody else has to say. If they have any input, want something that they want us to cover more of, they have a different insight on something that we cover. Again, feel free to comment, reach out to us, let us know if there's anything else that you want to see from us. Until next time, this is SP signing out. Dropkick Zombie, anything from you?
Nah, just like I said, spread the word, people. Use your help here. And yeah, so hopefully you guys like what we're doing here, and if you don't, let us know. We're good either way. But yeah, for SP, I am Dropkick Zombie. Good night, everybody.
We two loony guys catching eyes with our hype, talking pro wrestling, making all the fans unite. In the ring we swing like a rhyme making machine with moves so mean, leaving opponents in a dream.